Hi, I'm Kamali, taking you through some of the things people are talking about and some of the stuff they're sharing around the world on Newsfeed today. Footballer fined for a tweet to a teammate. He may not have thought it was racist. Football authorities and parts of the internet disagreed. More evidence of the impending extinction of insects from Earth. We look at this year's harvest of the world's most expensive spice. And we go to the Virunga Mountains to see how conservation of gorillas looks in 2019. And top of our news feed, a tweet by a footballer making fun of a teammate led to months of investigations by the English Football Association, countless tweets, takes, and ended in the footballer in question being punished and accused of racism. Now, he doesn't think what he did was racist, neither does the person it was aimed at, but parts of the internet definitely did, as did the powers that be in English football. Here's Lachlan.
Is this tweet from one footballer to another racist? Bernardo Silva, who plays for Manchester City in Portugal, sent it to his teammate and longtime friend, Benjamin Mendy. The English Football Association says it's racist and fined Silva $64,000, banning him from City's next game and made him go to racial bias training. Social media was quick to react.
Genuine question. Is anyone actually offended by Bernardo Silva comparing Mendy to a cartoon character? I actually believe it's offensive to suggest that it's offensive.
You don't actually have a right to dehumanize someone in the way that I believe that cartoon did to Benjamin Mendy, right, regardless of whether your black friend says it's okay or not. Yeah. You having a black friend who says it's okay for you to call me whatever you like isn't an excuse, especially when you put that private WhatsApp message or that thought into the public domain. Then I get to have my say.
Some have tried to compare what Silva did to this, likening Turkish footballer Çağla Soyuncu to Joker actor Joaquin Phoenix. Racism is rife in football. Black players are often singled out and abused by fans. The racism suffered by English players in their recent match in Bulgaria ended with the country being fined $83,000. Silva's tweet was deleted, and he wrote this soon after. Mendy says he was not offended by the tweet. But is that the point? The danger that it could lead to another black person being abused in a similar way led the Football Association to decide a significant punishment was warranted. But some are wondering how harsh the punishments will have to be if they want to root out all racism from the beautiful game.
Well, next to Beijing, where Patrick tells us about the pneumonic plague and how it's been identified in at least 2 people who live there.
Well, health authorities in China say there is nothing for Beijing residents to panic about and that anyone that may have been exposed to the disease has been traced and treated. However, there are reports saying that online censors instructed news aggregators to scrub any talk or news related to the plague, and that's prompted concern that the situation may in fact be worse than officials are letting on. Added to that, a social media post that has now been deleted has resulted in criticism being directed towards the government. A doctor here in Chaoyang district, where the 2 patients were diagnosed, said that the 2 men had first sought treatment on November 3rd. So a lot of people are now asking why we're only hearing about this now. The pneumonic plague is said to cause fever and shortness of breath, and if left untreated can be fatal. It is described by the WHO as the most virulent form of the plague and is more dangerous than the better known bubonic plague.
All right, here's a look at some of the other things that caught our eye on social media. Well, these children in India who are in protection or going through the justice system were allowed to run in a race in the smog of Delhi, despite the government there shutting schools for the day. The young people took part in an event called Run for Children. It's organised by a local charity. The charity said they were told that the race could go ahead. Qantas Airlines are continuing their trial of Uber long-haul flights. Their latest is non-stop London to Sydney. That's 19 hours and 18 minutes. I do hope they've got some good movies on board. The airline are running something called Project Sunrise, where they're working out the economic viability of these kind of routes. They flew this one in a Boeing 787 Dreamliner. And a department store in the UK called John Lewis has released its annual advert for Christmas. These things have always been a bit of an event, but social media has made the hysteria around them even worse. This one's about a dragon called Edgar who can't control his fire breathing. It cost nearly $10 million to make, and stores will be hoping they sell a whole load of Edgars and other things this festive period to make that money back.
And I can't fight this. Feel it anymore. I've forgotten what I started fighting for.
Now, scientists in the United Kingdom have published new research which shows that insects could soon be a thing of the past. And yes, human activity is to blame. Now, the ongoing crisis in Kashmir is affecting the population there in a multitude of ways. There's no internet and contact with the outside world is limited. And now one of the region's main exports is suffering. And we will keep spinning around the world now for some other stories you need to know this Thursday. Now, Facebook broke its record for removing fake accounts between April and September, 3.2 billion. There are only 7 billion people on Earth. The astounding figure goes to show just how fake and misrepresentative the social network really is. It's twice as many as it removed the year before. Despite that, a staggering 1.5 billion people use it every day, and in some countries, Facebook is the internet. Ervebo, a vaccine for Ebola, has been cleared for use by the World Health Organization. The drug is made by Merck and will be available from mid-2020. It's been used successfully in a trial in the Democratic Republic of Congo after an outbreak of the disease there. Emperor Naruhito of Japan is about to take part in one of the most sacred rituals of Shintoism. The Daijosai, in English, the rite of a great feasting, will be a banquet with him and a deity called Amaterasu. That's a sun goddess. This will happen in 2 lavishly built ceremonial halls, which will then be burned down afterwards. Now, a 24-year-old student from the United Kingdom has turned fish waste into bioplastic, and for her invention, she won the James Dyson Award and £30,000. Take a look.
It's a biodegradable material sourced from organic materials, so using waste from the fishing industry, combining that with binders from the sea, so that's using red algae, so agar from red algae, and combining it to create a plastic film alternative.
Now to the Virunga Mountains in Africa for a look at how modern techniques are helping to preserve a very special species.
We do all our clinical work in this forest. We don't take animals outside the park.
We managed to preserve the habitat and keep investing our daily efforts in the conservation of that species. I think that population has a future.
Even if my grandfather was a poacher, so now in generation, no more poacher in our family.
And last up, an animal doing something, and this one is being very unique. He's called narwhal because, as you can see, he's got a little growth there between his eyes. Now, vets say that weird thing is not a tail, it doesn't cause him any pain, and it doesn't wag when he gets excited. Now, narwhal was abandoned to an animal sanctuary in Missouri, and pictures of him have gone viral for obvious reasons since they were posted to Facebook. And that'll do from the newsfeed team. Reach out to me with your questions, comments, complaints and suggestions. You'll find me at Kamali Melbourne. You'll find us 24/7 on YouTube. Subscribe to our channel. Follow me on Twitter. Follow, subscribe, add. See you again tomorrow.